Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Live. Now, Thabiso Sparx, Manama or Black Raphael, as he likes to call himself, is a music producer and rapper from Johannesburg. His use of the piano and live elements to compose contemporary music has positioned his sound as musical but well connected to street culture. Well, he recently released his first EP titled Dopamine Junkie. And he joins us this morning to tell us more about his musical journey and what the Dopamine Junkie EP is all about. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm rather good, sir.
Great, thank you. I mean, you're known as a producer in the industry, having worked with the likes of JR, Red Button, Big Zulu. I mean, how did you get here?
Yeah, well, I learned to play instruments from a young age, pretty much early teens. And I got into music via the whole production angle. And after a while, I thought, well, it's about time that I express myself according to my own version of expression. So I was like, well, let me put an EP together. And that's how it came about, yeah.
How did the working with all these other musicians shape the person that you are today?
Well, when you're working with your typical sort of recording artist, you pretty much make what is relevant, what is commercially sellable. And the reason why it was important for me to do this is because I got a bit of room just to do art in its purest form, without having to consider whether it will trend or not, or blend in or not. You do want commercial success, but it's a totally different lane compared to working with all other artists that I've worked with in the past.
What does that look like, art in its purest form, in your definition?
Your own interpretation of it, wherein when you are doing a particular genre, you don't have to think of, oh, what are the elements that are used in this genre, and should I pretty much abide by them and whatnot. You just express whatever comes to mind, lyrically or instrumentally, and that's art in its sincerest form in my view. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did with the EP.
Talk to us about that EP. I mean, Dopamine.
Dopamine Junkie. The concept encapsulates, and you'll see the cover has like very well-renowned people and stuff, right? Writers, sportsmen, musicians, and all of that. The whole concept of Dopamine Junkie encapsulates someone who's addicted to passion, who's devoted to purpose, and who just has great fun, you know, doing what they love. You know, that is your work, and that's what a Dopamine Junkie is, and that's pretty much the whole concept. And for me, in this case, it was pretty much music, and that's the work I pretty much love. Yeah.
Was that fun though?
Very much, very much. We played around a lot. I collaborated with a bunch of artists. I collaborated with MT, with Big Zulu, like you just said, with Lucille Slade, a jazz band called HOA, the band, Links, and so on. So it was really fun collaborating and bringing all these ideas together, you know, into something really, really special and different. Yeah.
And having all these ideas, how difficult or how easy was it to put it together into an EP and not too much or too little?
It's all about who you work with, you know, it's all about synergy. There are people you get in studio with, and the moment you just start conceptualizing, you just sort of connect very well. It's not very hard to get ideas through. You make sense to each other, you complement each other. So just feeding off that energy, it made it quite simple. So it's really about working with artists that you are more likely to synergize with than anything else. And that's what made it really work, yeah.
And the idea of using live instruments, how did that come about, you know, so that it works? You know, it's one thing to have it in your head. Does it translate, you know, on stage or in the studio?
Environment. So that was the whole point. When I was coming up in my, early 20s, I'd make beats with like these hip-hop guys, and they'd say, you know, just don't leave it as it is, you know, just keep it looping, don't add pianos and. And the whole idea of it was to have fun with, you know, instruments, as much as a jazz artist will, but, you know, just interpret it according to hip-hop and street culture. And so the whole EP is just pretty much live instruments, from, you know, horns to drums to guitars, pianos, and everything else. So that's the whole idea, was to take hip-hop live, but still maintain its essence.
I like the sound of that, because I'm already imagining what it must sound like, right? You know, at the end of it. And what's been the response, you know, to the typical, not so, you know, people that may not understand, this person.
So the EP came out 30 September, and the response has been really good. In a sense that people felt like, you know, there's a lot of good music out there, there's a lot of good things happening out there, but we haven't heard something like this in a while. So it just gives people range. People are appreciating the fact that there's an option, right? Other than what's available out in the market. So I've been loving the response. As much as I'm gradually still promoting the EP, the response has been quite good.
What lessons came with working on this project?
Music is a difficult career.
Yeah.
It's time consuming, it consumes your energy, consumes your resources. It's really not as easy as just singing and getting recorded and out there. I didn't imagine that it's so much work. But it's been a growth curve for me. It's been quite fun as well, so that's been quite awesome.
But did it make it all worth it?
Yeah. How the way it came out, I was just like, I look back and I'll think, well, I did some really good, I put my best work out here. Yeah.
And where does that then leave the producing for everybody else?
Yeah, well, I'll probably continue opportunities arise, but I'm you know, as you sort of grow older, you want to kind of be, like I said, sincere with your music. So, you know, if it comes to a point where there's an artist that I vibe with and it makes sense, and I'll probably do that. But going forward, I'll probably just putting up my own work. I'm more of a collaborative sort of hip-hop artist / producer. So I get other artists on my stuff, and we do some, you know, really different things that according to what, other than what they're used to. So going forward, I'll pretty much be pushing that more than anything else.
Yeah. You know what? I'm actually excited. I really want to hear.
I hope you guys like it.
What this Dopamine Junkie looks like, and any, you know, plans to put it out there, live performances, so that more people can hear it.
I'll probably only do it live. It only makes sense to do it live.
Yeah.
The energy is very different, and that's the concept anyway. So I wouldn't want to sort of derail from that. So I'll probably just do all my performances live. Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm excited. Thank you so much for talking to us, Sparx.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Really a pleasure being here.
Sparx on his passion for music and his first EP as an artist named Dopamine Junkie. Well, that's in fact the name of the EP.